Hey everybody, if you've been following us for any length of time, you know that we strongly recommend that folks start their estate planning at the ripe old age of 18, as soon as you're an adult. But as you go through life, your needs change and your attorney should be there to support you. But your attorney is also not the only professional you're going to need on your team. So when should you hit up those other guys? We're going to talk about that today. Life stages and what will happen when, for most people, especially when maybe life throws curveballs at you. I'm 𝗪𝗵𝘁 of Zammitti Law. We're an estate planning practice in New York and New Jersey, and we provide peace of mind to families through our high client value services. If you do need assistance in either estate planning or the administration after the loss of a loved one, we can assist, and we provide free consultations. Feel free to schedule at yourplanningattorney.com. Speaking of value, we are here to educate everyone as well, and only ask that you request responses to some questions. We'll do our best to do so. And please, please, please don't forget to share so that together we can help some folks along the way. So as just mentioned, age 18, you're a young adult, just legal, and you need to start with an attorney in the legal front, actually, relative to your incapacity. So if you fall ill, you want folks in charge under a power of attorney for financial purposes. You want folks in charge under a healthcare proxy for medical purposes, and a few other pieces of information so that anyone that you've designated, those that you've designated, I should say, for those purposes, financial or health, can help make the right decisions for you if you are just unable at that time. That's starting at 18. From that point forward, we start to build a little bit of our assets, right? Once we graduate college, we do our first job. This is just a common, not everybody, of course. You can start your first job prior to going through college. And some assets are built up. The next stage is when your family is introduced. Again, not 100% of families have kids, but that is a very common next stage. You have young children. Now, when you have young children, you certainly should be readdressing your estate plan and introducing what we call a last will and testament so that you can designate guardians for your kids if, God forbid, something happened to you. This is also typically the first introduction for insurance protection. Now, because, and I'll tell you why, somewhere in that range of having minor children, you also have another huge change, which is purchasing your first home. And spouses, even before the kids come along, essentially, will want to back the other one up with, say, a term life insurance policy. They're a little less expensive, and what it'll do is it'll ensure that should something happen to one of the spouses, there will be funds available to offset the income of the other and maybe help pay off that significant mortgage. That's usually one of the big debts of a married couple or a single parent even. Now, the next stage, right? So we've gone through youth, growing some assets, and now we have some kids and maybe our first home. In stage 4, we're starting to increase that asset growth, right? Because we've been working more consistently over a period of time. We're in the midst of our career. We might have additional properties or certainly more equity in our home, and potentially have other assets such as like a small business. Now, once you've built those pieces of your net worth, right? And note, this can be at any age. So I don't want it to make it seem that you have to wait till stage 4 to be there. There are some folks who are very good at what they do and they start earlier in life and they're at that at stage 2. Maybe not so many 18, 20-year-olds, but it could happen. There's certainly people out there who are, .comers or app builders, and I'm probably dating myself by saying that, but or AI like maniacs, and they make their net worth early. So it can happen at any stage. But once you have built that, right, you certainly need to build in more of the professional team. And from the legal front with your estate planning attorney, that might be the stage when you start to consider a revocable living trust and to provide a little bit more control and flexibility in your plan and avoid the court process at the later stages, really at any stages. So once the net worth is built up, certainly a financial professional needs to come into play. They're going to help with growth strategies and ensuring that you're properly invested in the assets that you hold. Pre and post-retirement is sort of our final stage where we're trying to insulate the assets that we have built over our lifetime. You've accumulated significant assets, and you need to address that and how you're going to protect them. That's where the estate planning attorney, again, helps you transition your plan to something where you have asset protection, perhaps against long-term care concerns. Okay, that's one of the most pervasive issues facing Americans today. However, before the estate planner may make those adjustments, we're also talking to the insurance professional to determine whether long-term care planning is appropriate. In fact, I'd probably introduce the long-term care planning from the financial front in the stage before, somewhere in the early 50s, late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s. So I should have mentioned it there. But if long-term care is not introduced then, it's not necessarily too late. You might be able to do it pre-retirement, depending on your health and all other factors and the cost. If it works, and it could be a first hedge before having to do the planning changes. And certainly your financial advisor is a key person in your professional team to make sure you're maintaining those assets that you've earned throughout your life during your retirement, so that you can live the life that you lead without worry. So as far as the professional team is concerned, I think that's a common flow. Not everybody's exactly the same. Sometimes you need to introduce insurance sooner. Sometimes you need to introduce financial advisors sooner. But certainly your legal team from age 18 with adjustments on up is really necessary. I'm sure the other professional team members have things that they could help with at those stages as well. I'm just not that maybe up with it because I don't do that part. But this is what I see as the most common. Again, I'm Valerie Zammitti of Zammitti Law. We have an estate planning practice in New York and New Jersey. We provide peace of mind to the families we assist through our high client value services. If you do need assistance with estate planning or the administration after the passing of a loved one, you can reach out to us at yourplanningattorney.com. We truly hope you've learned something new here today. Please don't forget, share, and take care. Bye-bye.